It is my pleasure to introduce Bob Gostischa, a resident of New Mexico and a member of the East Central Ohio Technology Users Club. Bob is also a member of the APCUG Speakers Bureau. After a successful career in banking, Bob enjoyed his retirement as an enthusiastic IT security expert, most notably for Avast Software, SRO, the global leader of cybersecurity products, and most known for its Avast antivirus. Paying attention to cybersecurity is more critical today than it has ever been. COVID-19 has exposed many more vulnerabilities than in prior years. More of us are now working from home. Many children are learning from home, and many of us have added more IoT devices to make our lives easier. Unfortunately, these devices present their own dangers, which needs to be addressed. This presentation points out the dangers and offers suggestions that will aid in keeping you secure. Using the right programs and apps can help keep you safe and secure and reduce your privacy exposure. Using free programs and apps whenever possible to accomplish the goal is a bonus. And this presentation includes information on many recommended free programs. Bob, I now give it to you.
Thank you. As you'll notice from the first slide, even the youngest among us is now very tech savvy. This is how I stayed safe during the pandemic. Hopefully, all of you also fared well. Topic for today is cybersecurity really important? And the answer, of course, is you bet it is. Cybersecurity is important because it encompasses everything that pertains to protecting our sensitive data. And total cybersecurity encompasses protecting data, hardware, and personal security. Understanding the threat vectors. A threat vector is a path or a means by which cybercriminals gain access through one or more of 6 main routes into a computer system by exploiting a route vulnerability, also called an attack surface. And the 6 main routes or points of entry are the network, bypassing the user, your emails, your applications, remote access portals, and mobile devices. Network security is a broad term that covers a multitude of technologies, devices, and processes. Simply put, it's a set of rules and configurations designed to protect the integrity, confidentiality, and accessibility of computer networks and data using both software and hardware technologies. Everyone on the internet has to have a degree of network security solutions in place to be protected from the ever-growing cyber threats in the wild today. That protection also needs to be in place for you to secure your home network. 90% of all security incidents are caused by PCAG and ID10T errors. PCAG, the problem exists between the keyboard and the chair. ID10T error, unfortunately, that's a human frailty. Education and paying attention to details are the best cure for these problems. Here are some common flaws in email scams. The sender is bogus. By hovering your mouse over the sender's address, you can see the real address in the lower left corner of the email. The sender doesn't know your name. If the email starts off with "Dear valued member," that's a dead giveaway that this is not a company you do business with. Hovering over "Click here" shows the URL's destination, and as with issue number 1, they always attempt to look legitimate. threats. The scam goes from apologizing for any inconvenience to threatening the recipient to scare you into responding. More embedded links. The scammer's experience tells them that the more links they put into an email, the more likely you are to click on at least one of them. Another favorite ploy is for there to be a link to unsubscribe from the email. While legitimate companies do have unsubscribe features, if you get this message in a scam, clicking the link will likely deliver malware to your computer. Distrust and reason go a long way toward keeping you safe. Here are some tips to spot email scams. Since many folks now work from home, there's been a great big increase in employment scams, especially fake work from home job offers, and we'll talk more about that topic in a minute. There are also auction scams, fake messages from online shopping sites, and financial phishing scams, which come from places like PayPal and probably the bank you do business with. The only advice I can offer is that you get one of those emails that comes from the bank you deal with, never act on a phone number in that email or any links in that email. After all, this is the bank you do business with. You know how to contact them. So contact them on your own, and the bank will be the first ones to let you know this email did not come from us. There are also lottery and giveaway scams, foreign lotteries, competitions, free vacation giveaways. It sounds like everyone wants to give you something for nothing. Job application scams are on the rise because many of us now work from home. And here are some of the telltale signs of these fake applications. Sounds too good to be true. Vague job requirements and job description. Unprofessional emails. Online interviews via messaging services. Emails don't include contact information. Search results just don't add up. You're asked to provide confidential information. Sometimes you're asked to send money or use a personal bank account. And sometimes they actually want you to pay for something before you've ever been hired. Mainly, if your gut says it's a scam, believe it, it probably is. Program and app security. Just follow these tips. Only download from sites and app stores you trust. Only deal with companies you trust. Never download illegal software. Never use a password generator or a crack to bypass paying for a product. Scan your downloads for malware. Test the program in a sandbox. And if you really aren't sure about that program you're about to install, create a backup. That way, if something goes wrong, you've got a way of going back. Remote access portals and open Wi-Fi. It may be free, it may be handy, and it's certainly tempting, but only use it if it doesn't require exposing any sensitive or personal information. Any other time, use a VPN, virtual private network. If you've been involved with tech support for any length of time, you will have run into many a farmer in the dell. Cybersecurity is only as strong as its weakest link, and the hackers and crooks always exploit that weakest link. Here are some tools to aid in maintaining cybersecurity, and we're going to cover most of them. It's always important to update. Your operating system usually lets you know when it's time to do an update. And under most circumstances, that's something you should always be doing. Most updates are there for security reasons, and the sooner you update, the sooner you'll again be safe. Our programs and apps don't always let us know when they need to be updated, but it's just as important to keep them up to date. A program I've used for quite some time is called Patch My PC. It's capable of updating over 300 applications. And the next little video will tell you why I think you should also be using this program.
Are you sick and tired of those annoying pop-ups reminding you to update some software program on your PC? Let Patch My PC help with the cumbersome task of manually updating your software. We can automatically update over 300 applications. It's critical to keep third-party applications up to date because hackers target vulnerabilities and outdated software in order to compromise your PC. Need to install a new application that's not currently installed? Just select the app, and then it's a single click to start the installation. Are you an IT pro? Easily create a baseline of applications you want to install automatically on multiple PCs. You can even configure Patch My PC to run on a schedule, so you never have to worry about it. Patch My PC, a little program that does a lot. It's simple, easy to use, and best of all, it's free.
It's also important on a regular basis to back up your system. If you don't back up and something happens, like hardware failure or an infection, you're going to lose all of your personal information. You can always reinstall the operating system and its programs, but without a backup, your important information is going to be gone. Your pictures, your emails, your documents, all the important stuff. I'm on a Windows computer, so I use something that's been around since version 7. It's called Backup and Restore Windows 7. And I can tell you, since I'm a Windows insider, it works on the very latest version of Windows 11. It's what I still use, even though I'm already on Windows 11, to do my weekly image backups. Works like a charm. If you're looking for something from a third party, Acronis is an excellent product. And if you're part of APCUG, which all of your clubs are, they offer a nice discount. Just look at their site. It's also important to get familiar with your computer. The program I depend on is called Specky. Specky helps you learn the ins and outs of your system, both hardware and software. Keep your internet running smoothly. The program I depend on is called Complete Internet Repair. Whenever I have a problem with my internet access, this is my go-to tool. Provided the problem isn't with your internet service provider, you run the tool, check the top 5 boxes, and let it do its work. A system restart is required to finish the repair, and I can tell you from personal experience, I've never ever not had my internet access back after using this tool. Again, it bears repeating, if the problem exists between you and your internet service provider, this tool or any other tool won't help you. You have to contact them and fix the problem. CCleaner, a small effective utility for computers running Microsoft Windows, Mac, and Android that cleans out the junk that accumulates over time, such as temporary files, broken shortcuts, and other problems. CCleaner protects your privacy. It cleans your browsing history and temporary internet files, allowing you to be a more confident internet user and less susceptible to identity theft. I recommend installing the portable version. That way you can install it on a flash drive and take it from one system to the next. CCleaner also has many other tools. I actually have a program that concentrates just on those extra tools most people never ever knew existed. 2 excellent programs from a company called Hybit. The first one helps you with your startup programs. Those are all those programs that automatically get loaded when the system starts. And this allows you to control those programs. The other one is their uninstaller. It helps to make sure when you uninstall a program, you get rid of all of it, not just part of the program. Let's spend a little time and talk about what will keep you safe and secure. No secret, my favorite antivirus is Avast. I've used the product since 2003. It's done an excellent job of keeping my systems safe. It's very light on system resources so that I actually have a computer I can use. And if you look at all the things that it covers in the free version, no wonder it's kept me safe. This is available for Windows, for Mac, and for Android. Passwords need to be long and strong, and you should be using a different password for everything that requires a password. And no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is not an acceptable password, even though it's the most used password worldwide. I personally have used LastPass for many years. I'm very happy with it. I use their free version. And lately, I added a second password manager, Bitwarden. And the two of them back up each other. So if one decides to quit tomorrow, the other one still has my back. I've listed some of the most popular ones, but there are many, many others. The nice thing about a password manager, once installed, you only have to remember one password, and that's the password to get to your password manager. It will remember all your passwords for you. It can create strong passwords for you, and it'll fill in all the information whenever it's needed. Public Wi-Fi has gotten safer over the years only because they now use HTTPS. For maximum protection on public Wi-Fi networks, a VPN is still recommended. When you use a VPN, you connect to a single VPN server, and all of your system's traffic is routed through an encrypted tunnel to that server. The public Wi-Fi network you're connecting to sees a single connection, your VPN connection, and no one can even see the websites you're connecting to. The VPN that I use comes from Avast. It's called SecureLine. It's a paid product, well worth the price. Gives me many, many choices of where I want people to think I'm located or where I choose to be located. It encrypts everything before it leaves my system and doesn't get unencrypted until just before it gets to its destination. So if someone intercepts that information, it's encrypted. They don't have a key to unlock it, so I stay safe, even though the connection I'm using may not be safe. If you're looking for something free, there are many choices. This is only a small sample. Unfortunately, the free ones always have drawbacks. They'll severely limit the amount of data they'll encrypt. They'll have ads in their programs, and many of them are located in places you really don't want to share your data with. They make it with lots of annoyances because they really want you to purchase their paid product. Something I use as an extra measure of protection and as a second opinion is Malwarebytes. I personally don't allow Malwarebytes to be resident. Since version 4, to me, it's become a system hog. But I do run it about once a month just as a double check on my antivirus. We also need to remember that your modern antivirus doesn't only protect you against viruses, trojans, and rootkits, it also protects you against all other forms of malware. Therefore, this is simply a second opinion. I can also tell you it hasn't found a blessed thing in a very long time. Something that doesn't require installing any antivirus is Avast's Hack Check. It helps you to check to see whether your password for your email address has been hacked or stolen. And as I said, this is a web service, so it doesn't require installing anything. And this is how it works.
Avast Hack Check and how to use it. Once you go to the website, put in the email address for which you want to check for possible hacks. Click on Check Now. It gives you the results. It also tells you to go check that email because Avast has now sent you a reply to that email address that you used to check. So the next step is to go to your email account and see the reply that you've received from Avast. This is the email I received. It tells me to change my password now. And you'll notice you can't see what the password is, but that button on the bottom that says Show Details, once we click it, we'll get redirected to another site. At that website, it will show you the leaked password, and next to it, you see what looks like a little eye. If you click on that eye, it reveals that password that's been leaked. If that's still your current password, you better hurry up and change it. If you've already changed that password, it's perfectly okay at this point now to mark it as resolved, which is what I'll be doing. That's what it takes to use Avast's website to check for compromised passwords, hacked passwords.
Avast also offers a secure browser specifically designed to keep you safe whenever you do your banking and shopping. When you're in bank mode, you're totally isolated from everything else. No one can see what you're doing. No one can get to your information. You can't even do a screenshot while you're in banking mode. This is available for those that are using Windows, Mac, Android, and iOS. And if you're on the Android and iOS operating system, this also includes a free VPN.
Browse the web faster and safer with Avast Secure Browser. Your browser is not as private as you think. Hackers, trackers, and ISPs are out to steal your data. But with Avast Secure Browser, you're protected. Stay safe on public Wi-Fi and unlock the internet with built-in VPN. Automatically block creepy ads that follow you around and slow you down. Create custom and security privacy settings. And securely sync your data across multiple devices. With powerful encryption to protect your IP address, bookmarks, history, downloads, and online activity, it's all locked behind your PIN code or fingerprint to keep your data safe from prying eyes. For private browsing that's actually private, make the switch to Avast Secure Browser. Download free today.
Our phones need at least as much protection as our computers. Probably more because most of us have more private information on our phones than we have on our computers. They need to be at least as protected as the computers, and this is why.
What are you downloading?
It's just a game on an app store.
Honey, are you using Avast? It works on your phone too.
It's just a word game. I'm sure it's fine.
Nice work, Bob. So I got access to all your data, photos and videos too. What? Yeah, the spyware is sick. And I get every photo we take. Insane, right?
No.
We should take some more selfies. The lighting in here is great.
Like I was saying, use Avast for your phone too. It protects you against fake apps, phishing, malware, spyware, and ransomware. Did I mention there's even a free version? Unlike those video games you keep buying. Ugh.
Most mobile device insecurities are a direct result of the apps we install. Make sure that an app only asks for the permission it requires to perform its task. If it wants more permission than that, simple, don't install it. You have many choices. Find an app that only asks for the permission it needs in order to do its job. Verify the reputation of the manufacturer. Read and verify the app's reviews, and only download apps from reputable web stores. Something brand new from Avast, it's called Avast One. It was just released at the beginning of this month, and the free version is called Avast One Essential. Essential protection for your life today. Block viruses and malware with an advanced antivirus. Keep intruders out with a built-in firewall. Get extra privacy when you browse, bank, and shop. Secure your Wi-Fi connection with a VPN, and the free version includes 5 gigabytes of encryption per week. Find compromised passwords and help speed up your PC. The next video will tell you all about this brand new product just released. Introducing Avast One. This was just released by Avast Software. Seeing that the world was shifting rapidly from the days when we were only worried about our computers getting viruses, people were increasingly telling us they wanted to protect their privacy, money, and their identities, in addition to their devices. People wanted all the protection and performance they needed, but they didn't want to have to be an expert to understand how to get it. They also told us they had enough of the tracking, the targeting, and the snooping, and all of this really resonates with us here at Avast. We believe that everyone has a foundational right to security and privacy. This has been part of our story since we began offering our esteemed antivirus for free over 30 years ago. But we could see that more was needed. Antivirus is important, but it's no longer enough for total protection. Digital protection needs to include more than just security. It needs to include safety, privacy, identity protection, performance, and more. Avast One is Avast's newest product that encompasses all of these important features. What started out as a wide-open, democratic, and free vision for a digital world has become compromised by security and privacy threats, says Vita Centricek, Chief Product Officer at Avast. People feel vulnerable online, but they struggle to know what to do about it. With our newest Avast One service, we enable people to feel confident online. Enjoy our free, award-winning, cross-platform protection. Avast One is available in 3 different versions. Essential, the most comprehensive free service available today. Premium services, Avast One Individual. And Avast One Family. All Avast One versions work across the devices in your household and in your pocket. Available for Windows, Mac OS, Android, and iOS. Customers will enjoy an easy-to-use personalized dashboard with tailored recommendation to improve their privacy, security, or device performance, with options for both individuals and family needs. Avast One keeps up to 30 devices protected across the entire household. It is currently available in the following countries: US, UK, Australia, and Canada. For full details and pricing on the premium versions, follow the link below. Had quite a few questions on the upcoming merger of Norton, LifeLock, and Avast. And the next little video will give you the official information directly from Avast on that topic. Here is the official information currently available about the Norton, LifeLock, and Avast merger. Nothing will change for now. The transaction is expected to close in the second quarter of 2022, and until then, Norton, LifeLock, and Avast will continue to operate as separate companies. You will still be able to use Avast products as before. We will begin integrating our companies and providing a consolidated suite of offerings to all our customers once the transaction has closed. We don't have any further details at this time. We will continue to offer our free product for the foreseeable future. We don't know and can't comment on anything that might be on the horizon once the merger is finalized. With this merger agreement, we will be combining 2 leading companies in the cyber safety industry, which will allow us to provide you with the best identity and privacy products and services to better protect your digital life. The remaining part of this presentation may not help you to get more secure, but it should make you feel a bit better. Just wanted you to know that I have entered the Snapdragon part of my life. Part of me has snapped, and the rest of me is now dragging. You know you're getting old when a recliner and a heating pad is your idea of a hot date. 5 tips for a woman. It's important that a man helps you around the house and has a job. It's important that a man makes you laugh. It's important to find a man you can count on and doesn't lie to you. It's important that a man loves you and spoils you. And it's extremely important that these 4 men don't know each other. Can't find a job? It's all right. Just blame the government. This was our very first cordless drill. I still have one of them. It's in the backyard in the tree. As we get older, there comes a time when we have to admit it is now time to retire. A wise man once told his son, "My boy, when you accumulate the understanding to know why a pizza is made round, to be put in a square box and is eaten in triangles, then and only then will you be able to understand women." Honey, have you seen that box of laxatives? They look just like those little chocolate Easter eggs. Did you know that on the Canary Islands, there is not one single canary? And on the Virgin Isles, same darn thing, not one canary there either. I started doing these presentations back in 2010. Never expected to still be doing them today. I don't work for Avast, but I've been part of their customer support forum since 2004. That's not a job you get paid for, but some of us happen to enjoy helping others. My presentations are always designed for the average computer user, not for the geek. And if you know of any other clubs, organizations, churches, synagogue, any group of technology users that would benefit from the presentation, have them contact me, and I'll be happy to arrange a program for them. There's never a charge to the club or its members for my services. That's where Avast comes in. I have a great arrangement with Avast. They pay all of my expenses from the second I leave home until I get back. So for the last year and a half plus, they've been getting a genuine bargain. All of my presentations have been done via Zoom. Unfortunately, there aren't any clubs that are open. Hopefully that'll change soon because I'm itching to get back out on the road. If you enjoyed today's presentation and learned something, I'd appreciate it if you let Eva at Avast know about it. That's how we continue these presentations. That's also the end of this big sales pitch. The link that you see listed here, if you copy it or take a picture of it, it will get you access to most of what we've talked about. You'll also wind up with the information in the presentation that eventually will wind up getting to all of you. That will end this presentation, and I'll now be happy to answer any questions that any of you might have.
Thanks, Bob. You always provide us with very useful and informative information. I do have a question. I believe it's a clarification, maybe, on your statement that you made regarding Bitwarden and LastPass backing up each other. The question is, how does this work? Do you have to manually enter the same information in both? or is there something better than that?
When you enter it for one, the other one pops up and says, do you want me to save this? Or if it's a change, it'll pop up and ask if you wanted it to save the new information. The first time when I first installed the second Bitwarden, I exported from LastPass and imported into Bitwarden. From then on, whichever one happened to answer first, the other one was always kept up to date. And as I said, if there was a change made in one, when I used that change, the other one would pop up and ask whether they wanted to change the information currently on hand. So they, on their own, it is not something special that you have to do. They just automatically back each other up. And I never know which one is going to come up first to fill in the information or be the first one to remember something new. But the other one always pops up and asks whether it should also remember that information.
Okay, it's good information to know. Does the new Avast One integrate with Avast Omni and the Omni software? Are they still separate?
Omni is a separate product, so is Avast's free version, and you can only have one resident antivirus at a time. I can also tell you with Avast Omni, you can't, as a new user, download Avast Omni. It's only still being used by those of us that are fortunate to have the hardware and software for that product. Still fully supported, but not available right now as a new install.
This is an interesting question. Are emails secure to send my personal information to refinance a mortgage? I would say,
how is it being sent? Just
yeah,
a regular.
I would say if you're sent a portal from the mortgage company, then they have that already.
That's
secure.
Correct.
So I wouldn't think that. But if it's just something you're sending on voluntary through your regular email, I don't think I would do that.
Neither would I. But if it's through a portal where you're answering information, you're using their software, that's the company you're going to use, and their site is secured.
I have AVG free. Wait, hold on. I missed it. I have AVG free virus on my computer. Can I also install Avast One Essential?
Number one, if you have AVG, you actually have Avast. Avast 4.5 years ago purchased AVG. Your product and Avast product, the protection part is exactly the same. Because what happened is the two merged the best of both products, made it into one product, but kept the user interface. So if you're on AVG, you have AVG's interface, but the backbones which protects you is the same in both products. And if you're using Avast, you have the Avast interface. Again, the protection is the best of both worlds. And in order to get Avast One, there's also a version for AVG, but you would have to uninstall what you currently have before you can install anything new. Can't have more than one resident antivirus program on your system.
I still have an XP laptop. Will Avast work on it?
It's not supported anymore. You would have to use an old version from Avast, and unless you happen to get it directly from me, it's not available anymore. XP hasn't been supported by anyone for a long time. If you're running XP, the smartest thing you can do is use it offline.
When you're sending sensitive information via email, I use a password-locked PDF. How does one send information securely via text? And then number 2, is it safe giving a password verbally over a cell phone?
Via text only if the well, if you're sending it via text, you're sending it through some means. And I don't know what the security is on the product you're using to send that information. Text file itself isn't password protected unless you zip it up with a password, pass along that password to the other party.
Yeah.
As far as your phone goes, that's between you and the person you talk to. I don't know how secure your phone is.
Yeah, and the other thing that's interesting when you ask that question.
Your voice is gone.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's interesting that he asked that question because he said that he had the PDF was locked with a password. So I would assume that might be okay, but I don't know.
Depends on how you get the, right. How secure is sending that password to somebody else? That's basically, I guess, what the question is. And that depends on what you use.
On an Android cell phone, is there a default antivirus program from Google or someone else?
No, there is not.
Is Avast One replacing Avast?
The free version, eventually, yes, because if you go to install a brand new version of Avast, you are automatically directed to the Avast One essential product. If you're searching for Avast free, your website that comes up is Avast One Essential.
Can you put Avast on your notebook and or phone if you have a different, I'm assuming different antivirus on your computer?
Never ever have more than one resident antivirus on any product, whether it's a phone or a computer, or only one resident antivirus at a time. And you have to totally remove one before you can install another.
But you could, like, if you were using Microsoft Windows Security on your computer and you wanted to put Avast on your phone or your notebook, that would be perfectly okay.
Yeah, Microsoft Security is the exception to the rule. Most people know it as Defender because it totally steps aside and shuts itself off when you install anyone else's antivirus. But that's the exception to the rule.
Do I need more than a free AVG antivirus? AVG always says I'm not fully protected and wants me to purchase other protection.
AVG, just like Avast, also isn't a 501c3 corporation. So, of course, they would love for you to pay for the product or some other product. I've used the free version of Avast since 2003. My system is as clean as any system out there. So lots of that too has to do with your own personal habits. If you're constantly doing things you shouldn't be doing on the internet, then that might be a different story.
But in comparison, Bob, AVG is owned by Avast. Are those products similar? Or are they somewhat different?
The protection part is the same. The difference is the user interface.
Is Signal encrypted messages program safe? I'm not sure if I understand.
I don't know. I don't know the product.
They didn't say if Signal is a software or what.
Signal is a software.
Okay. So if I use the free version of Avast, then can I no longer use, well, that's true, yes. Windows Defender?
No, you don't, because it's turned off. The second you install Avast, AVG, any other antivirus, Defender is turned off.
That's correct. Malwarebytes can block compromised BitTorrent IPs. Does Avast do this?
Correct, it does. That's why I said I use Malwarebytes as a second opinion. I don't allow it to run resident. Since version 4. It's become a system hog.
Does Avast One work with Chromebooks?
It works on Android devices. I don't think it works on Chromebooks. Chromebooks really, if you have a problem with the Chromebook, just reset it.
I'll have to send this to you too. I'm not sure if I understand totally the question, but I'll pose it. I have Avira, and Defender asks permission for running Opera. Opera is the web browser, and Defender, I don't know if he's talking about Windows Defender or because Avira is an antivirus.
Is an antivirus, correct.
And Defender is an antivirus. So you can't have both of them running on the same machine.
The question is, what is asking for permission to run Opera?
He's saying Defender.
Probably the operating system is asking whether it's all right to install it. And that's a personal decision whether you want to use Opera or not use Opera. No, I personally don't use it because it's now owned by a Chinese consortium. That's why I will not use Opera, but that's a personal choice.
And I would tend to agree with you. Ken, if you would, you're the one that posed that question. Would you kind of clarify that? And we'll send that to Bob so that he can answer it more complete, because we're not sure of your question. The last, well, it's not quite the last. Must you use the same antivirus program on all your devices?
No, you don't.
Yeah, you can.
I don't know why you'd use a different one on different devices, but no, there's nothing says you have to use the same one.
Right, you could use.
You can use Defender on one, use Avast on another, whatever you want on a third one. Depends on how many. Maybe if you want to do some testing to see which one does a better job, you know, run different ones on different machines, but do the same things on all those machines. Right. And then you'll find out which one is the best of the bunch.
And I would say, like, if you're using an iPad that you might be using, I don't know if Avast has a Mac version for.
It does.
Okay. And some people may not be aware of that and they're using something else, but that would be perfectly okay. But now that you know that Avast has a product for Mac, then you can maybe switch to that. If I ever want to uninstall Avast, do I have a dedicated program to do that, or do I just use the uninstall using Windows?
All antivirus programs have a dedicated uninstaller. And yes, Avast does have one. That link that I had shared, which you will eventually have access to, has the first part dedicated to how do I remove what I currently have before I install something else. That includes the removal tool for Avast.
I installed Norton LifeLock antivirus while WebRoot was already installed on my PC. I have since uninstalled WebRoot now. Am I protected?
I don't know whether your original install of LifeLock went through properly or not. I'd go in and do a repair on Norton LifeLock. That's to make sure that you actually have a total installation of that product. And you go into the removals portion, and part of the removal will be an option to do a repair.
And our last question is, what are the benefits of using Avast over Defender?
I have Windows computers, and I have a choice. I could use Defender. I chose not to because I think Avast is a better product. The rest is up to you to do some research and see if you come up with the same answer. Yeah. My job is not to knock somebody else's product. It's to simply let you know what I use and why I use it.
Yes, and it's really a personal preference about what antivirus you use. My personal feelings, if it's doing the job and you haven't had any issues, then you don't have a reason to change unless there's some feature on that particular other product that you like and you want to employ. But
correct, and a lot of that too has to do with what kind of an internet user are you. If you're a safe one, you may not need as much protection. And if you do lots of things that most people should not be doing, you're going to need some extra protection.
Exactly.
And sometimes even with extra protection, you shouldn't have gone there and you wind up paying the consequences.
Very true.